Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Space Jam: A New Legacy, which I checked out on HBO Max. And this is from director Malcolm D. Lee, who previously did Girls Trip and Undercover Brother, which I watched a lot as a kid, and I'm a huge fan of Girls Trip, so I was excited for this, and it has like 50 screenwriters on it. Not a good sign. Realistically, more like 7 or 8, which is not a good sign. And this film is, 25 years late? And, they needed to continue making all these Michael Jordan and LeBron James comparisons, so like LeBron had to have his own Space Jam movie. I was so close to just giving this movie an F, purely for the point that they didn't even have the Space Jam theme in it. They had some other music over the credits, and I'm like, what? Like, I almost did that Chris Pratt thing from Tomorrow War. What? And it was so frustrating because, like, come on. That song is a jam, and all you had to do was just put it in the credits. But no. You need to make this sequel and try to set it apart and make it 2 hours, which this did not need to be 2 hours. This film basically hits almost all of the beats of the first film, except drawn out. Like, the actual game is 45 minutes. And it's not, and I'll get to that in a second, but there's a whole hour of setup beforehand. You don't need an hour of setup for Space Jam in this way. And LeBron James is extremely unlikable in this film. Like, Michael Jordan's likable in Space Jam. LeBron James is not. And he has all these problems with his son Dumb, played by Cedric Joe, who wants to make video games. He makes this Dom ball game, and like, LeBron's just like, no, you need to do basketball. And the obnoxious, heavy-handed theme of the film is let people be themselves and not try to force your kids to be you. And LeBron is so unlikable, and when he's trying to be fun and toony, it's terrible. Like, they didn't do that in the first Space Jam. You had the Looney Tunes, and Michael Jordan still took things seriously, even when he was, like, stretching his arm and everything. This tried so hard to be fun and zany, and it tried way too hard. And this movie is just frustrating in the fact that, like, a whole entire controversy came about because Animated Bunny didn't have large breasts, which is really concerning that that's the discourse going on around this movie. And not gonna lie, Zendaya was a bit of a distraction to me with the voice casting, because like everybody else is just like their standard Looney Tunes voice casting and sounds like the characters. It was odd having Zendaya. Like, she did fine. She's a great actress. But to be frank, they didn't give her a whole lot to do, and honestly, they didn't give a whole lot of these characters a lot to do in a 2-hour movie. This just felt like, how many IPs can we possibly squeeze into this and advertise Warner Brothers? And this just felt like one giant Warner Brothers advertisement. And the villain, Don Cheadle, whose algorithm is so insufferable and so ridiculous. And here's the thing. The Monstars in the first one had motivation to want to beat the Tunes. The Tunes bullied them when they arrived. Here we just get, look at all these creations, the Goon Squad, that's based off of a bunch of famous basketball players, and that's it. There's no heart to this film, despite the fact that it really, really tried hard to have that father-son issue going on in this film, but it didn't work. And it was so distracting watching this game and being like, are those the Droogies from Clockwork Orange? Is that like 2 different versions of the Penguin? 2 different versions of Catwoman? Batman? Agent Smith? Mr. Freeze in his pajamas? That pajama robe? And all of these things going on is just ridiculous. And the humor, I didn't need a rapping Porky Pig. There's a couple of jokes in the film that work. There's one cameo that was really funny that actually worked really well for me. And the whole montage of Bugs trying to get everybody back from all of the Warner Brothers properties that they were working with, that was fun. But they raced through it. They could have spent more time with that and had some more fun. This film wasn't fun. And here's the thing. The tension works in the game in the first one because you understand how basketball works. And like, you know, oh, I could score this many times and we'll be back in the game. This game, Dom Ball, makes no sense. And there's no tension there. And it's hard to gauge what's going on and how far away they are and what they need to do to win. And it's so illogical. One other positive is Lil Rel doing commentary was pretty funny. I did enjoy him in this film. But in general, this was low-hanging fruit humor, just trying to push so many IPs as possible, and lost the fun humor. And a lot of the dramatic things in the first one are just not here. And it's lacking that, like, Wayne Knight energy or Bill Murray. Because, like, da 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 da. And just, like, Bill Murray just showing up is so much fun. And this never once captures that spark. Michael Jordan works a lot better in Space Jam than LeBron does in this one, which is a shame because I've actually seen LeBron in Trainwreck, but had much better writing from Amy Schumer. Here, it just doesn't work. And by the end of this 2 hours, it felt like a waste of time. And I only laughed a couple times. And that's a shame. And I only had fun a couple times. And that's a shame. Because this is Space Jam. Welcome to the Slam. And it really didn't capture that spirit. Like, I'm not saying the first Space Jam movie is a great movie. It's not. And it was actually the first film that I recall seeing in a theater back in 1996 when I was 5 years old. And I still love watching it. I still have fun. No fun was had here. And that makes me sad. So, would I recommend this? Not really. I don't think this is really worth your time. Especially for an hour and 55 minutes. But those are my thoughts on Space Jam: A New Legacy. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.